If you want to make beats, you might be feeling lost right now. There are so many videos and tutorials on making beats, it can be hard to figure out who to listen to, who's right, and which path to actually follow. Well, let me do my best to help you today. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to make beats, mistakes that you need to avoid, and how to make progress as fast as possible. My name is Navie, and this is basically me showing you what I've learned after 15 plus years of making beats, after working with many artists and getting millions of streams on my own beats. So let's just go ahead and start by talking about what you actually need to make a good beat. This is where you will run into a lot of bad information online, so if you're feeling confused right now, it's not your fault. The online beat making space is just full of influencers promoting products that they don't actually believe in, so it can be hard to know what you actually need and what you don't. But here's the good news. There are only 5 things that you need to make beats, and they don't have to cost you any money either. Meaning you can start with zero investment and you will still be able to make beats. So let's start with number 1. The first thing that you're gonna need to make beats is a beat making program. Now the 3 most common programs people use are Ableton, FL Studio, and Logic. Now while these are paid programs, they do have demos that you can use for free. But there are also 100% free options like MPC Beats or Serato Studio that you can use as well. Now, since I am a trained mind reader, I already know what you're wondering. Which of these programs is the best? Which do real beat makers use above all the other ones? Well, here is the answer. None of them. For the most part, these all do the exact same thing. You're gonna see producers online getting into dumb arguments over how this program has better audio quality or that program is what losers and nerds use to make beats. But this is all just nonsense. What matters most is you and your ideas. So here is what I recommend. Try each of these programs for just one day. Even though they all pretty much do the exact same thing, the difference is that they're set up a bit differently and have different workflows. Most likely, one of these workflows will just feel better based on how your own brain is wired. So whatever feels best that lets you create your ideas the easiest, just choose that one. And it's important to stick with it. I recently asked producers what their biggest beat regret was when they first started, and many agreed that jumping around from program to program was a mistake. So don't do this. You don't need to master multiple beat making programs. You're trying to become a producer here, not a professional software user. So just choose one and it's really that simple. Now let's talk about number 2 on the list of things that you need. You might be wondering whether there are additional sounds or plugins that you need. Are the tools that come with your beat making program good enough? Most music programs are built for EDM or electronic production, so they don't have that many good tools or sounds for making beats. But don't worry, I got you here. If you want sounds that are good for making beats, I do have some suggestions, and again, the good news is these are all absolutely free. Check out Complete Start and Spitfire Labs. These are, in my opinion, the best free plugins if you're just starting making beats. Now, as for the best sounds and samples, honestly, it's hard to recommend anything because so much of what you find online is like a weird black market of pirating and thievery. You go to the wrong beat making website and suddenly you're now a victim of organ theft. So if this is a concern for you, I do have free training where you also get a bunch of free sounds and samples that you can download and start using to make beats. Other than that, I am a bit hesitant to recommend anything else that's free because they might be illegal. Now, next up on the list, you might be wondering, do you need hardware like a keyboard to make beats? Is buying a keyboard necessary? The answer here is no. Some beat making programs will give you the ability to use your computer keyboard to build your patterns, which is a great workaround. But honestly, plenty of successful producers just use their mouse to draw in all their patterns. So when you run into the barrage of ads telling you to buy the latest and greatest keyboard and how it's going to help you become the next Mozart of beat making, don't listen. You're perfectly fine just starting off with a computer keyboard and a mouse. And this leads me to number 4, which is kind of related. Do you need expensive equipment like speakers to make beats? My answer here is again no, kind of. The expensive speakers that you see many producers have are not necessary to make beats. Back when I was working with artists and I made a soundtrack for a #1 video game, these are the speakers that I was using at the time. They were the junk speakers that came with my junk computer that would basically stop working if I added too many sounds into my beats. But I was still able to make beats good enough where artists wanted to use them, and I got millions of streams on my music like I mentioned. So you don't need expensive speakers to make beats. But I would recommend at least maybe thinking about getting some decent headphones, which will cost a fraction of what speakers do. The reason why I say this is because, for example, if I played this sound here, if you're watching on your laptop or phone, you probably didn't hear anything. This is why I say headphones can be a good idea. They can at least help you hear more frequencies and sounds that plain old speakers might not be able to. And now there's one more thing on this list that we need to address before we move on to talking about the common errors and mistakes that you need to avoid when you start making beats. The last question you might have is, do you need courses and training? I am biased here. Like I mentioned, I have a free 7-day course to help you start making beats and a full beat making course as well. But do you absolutely need courses to get good? Again, no. I started mostly by learning on my own. There weren't any courses or free tutorials even back when I began, so I didn't have much of a choice. But I'd be lying if I told you that you need training. You can definitely learn everything on your own, but it's entirely up to you and what kind of learner you are, whether you like to learn on your own or if you like to learn from others. So those are the 5 things you need or don't need to make beats. And again, you don't need to spend a single penny to start if you don't want to. So now that you know what you need to make beats, let's shift gears and talk about what you need to avoid if you want to make beats. There are 3 very common mistakes that producers make when they first begin. So if you avoid making these mistakes, you will save yourself years of wasted time, bad beats, and late night tears. So let's go over these one by one. Mistake number 1 is closing the gap the wrong way. Now, what the hell is the gap and what does this mean? Right now, I'm guessing you have a high bar for your beats, and now most likely you're somewhere below that bar right now. Don't worry, this is how everyone starts. This distance between where you are and where you want to be is called the gap. Now, how you go about closing this gap will be the difference between actually making progress or being stuck in the same spot forever. So let me explain this by taking 2 different producers here. Let's look at producer A and producer B. Producer A sees this gap and thinks to themselves, you know what, my beats aren't all that great right now, but that's okay. If I just commit to learning, I will get better. So producer A practices, they grow their skills, and over time they slowly close this gap more and more day by day. But there are other producers like producer B who will think that they can close this gap in an entirely different way. So here's what they'll do. They'll blame their problems on other producers having expensive fancy plugins that they don't have. Or maybe they blame their mediocre computer for getting of the way of making better music. Or hey, maybe they blame their room and having to make beats out of their bedroom and that they need to be in an expensive studio. While producer A is actually improving and closing the gap day by day, producer B will be spending a lot of money and getting nowhere. This is a trap that I see producers fall into. Progress is possible, but only if you accept responsibility for your beats. Now, the next error is believing that you're a magical unicorn. Sometimes I see producers say things like, well, I only make music when I feel inspired, or I make my best music at nighttime, so I only work for a few minutes before I go to bed. I only make good beats when it's a full moon out, so I only work once a month. Like you're some sort of magical creature whose powers are so mysterious and mystical that they must not be questioned. In my opinion, these are all just fantastical stories. None of this is actually real. Now let me explain why I think this. You will spend hours and hours, maybe even days on your beats, and no matter what you try, some of your beats will go absolutely nowhere and you'll have no idea why. And it's going to be frustrating, confusing, and it's going to suck. What's even worse is that no matter how long you've been making beats, even if it's for a day or a decade, this will happen. Now, here's what might start happening. Your brain might start creating these stories that will give you an excuse not to work on your beats. Stories like, oh, I don't feel inspired right now. I'm just going to continue sitting on this couch and watching yet another episode of The Gilmore Girls. The reason why your brain is doing this is to protect you. It does this to avoid the pain and disappointment that comes along with failing when you make beats. So if you're one of the producers that waits for inspiration or whatever story you tell yourself, just know that these are probably excuses that are doing nothing but slowing you down. So how do you avoid this? Well, my advice is to build routine. Commit to a schedule, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. Train yourself to just show up. Failure and disappointment suck, I know. No one likes going through this, but it's the producers who are able to continue to work no matter how they feel that eventually make amazing beats and do so much faster. Now let's cover the last error that I see producers make before I talk about how you can make progress much faster with your beats. The last thing that you need to avoid is falling into the trap of making everything yourself. This is a unique problem that happens with producers. There's this strange sense of shame and guilt that's common in the producer community. The reason why is because there's a strange culture online of bragging about how you make everything yourself and how this somehow makes you a superior producer. So it's no wonder that people feel bad when they use samples and loops. But let me explain how doing everything yourself can hurt your progress. If you force yourself to make everything, think about the skills that you're actually developing. To make a good beat, you're gonna need to practice everything from sound selection, pattern building, arrangement, the list goes on. And one of the advantages of using loops or samples is that it easily lets you practice differing skill sets and make progress on the exact skill that you may need practice on. Need to get better at making drum patterns? Start by using a loop and you can begin practicing your drum patterns immediately. Want to learn how to create a full beat idea? Well, you can quickly just grab a pre-made sample and start practicing your arrangement skills within minutes. But let's think about how this looks if you forced yourself to make everything from scratch. If you want to practice the skill of turning your loop into a full beat, well, first you have to make the loop yourself. And what if this takes you multiple hours or even days? And what if by the time you finish your loop, you're bored of it and you just want to move on to something else? You've just spent all this time and you still haven't practiced the one skill that you set out to. This is why I say building everything yourself can be a mistake when you first start. Every producer is going to have some natural strengths and weaknesses. And using samples or loops allows you to work on your weaknesses much faster and easier. So the next time someone tries to shame you, stand up for yourself. Tell them, I will not be shamed. I am a proud and beautiful woman. Anyways, now that you know what you need to get started and what mistakes you need to avoid, let's talk about the final topic, how to make progress and do so as fast as possible. Now, the best way to explain this is by showing you what the common journey of a producer looks like. This is where you are when you first start your journey, a wonderful beat-making baby full of producer potential. And maybe at this stage, you're only really able to create some basic but not so great beat ideas. But by following what we've talked about so far, hopefully you realize what you actually need to do and what you need to avoid to make progress. You focus on learning. You practice the key skills to making beats while avoiding all the stupid mistakes and the foolish error everyone else is going to make. And again, in case you need more direct help with practicing these key skills and knowing what they are, I do have a free 7-day course to help you get started, which you can find in the description box below. But as you progress, as you get better and better, I need to warn you about the wall. There is a wall that everyone hits, and once they hit this wall, many producers waste a lot of time being stuck, and some actually end up quitting. So let me explain what happens. You will eventually hit a wall where you will feel like no matter how much work you put into a beat, it will not get better. And it's around this time that I see many producers make this same mistake with their beats. They think to make better beats, they need to introduce more complexity. They start adding more and more sounds into their beats, thinking it's making them sound better. They make beats that have a lot going on in them, and the amount of ideas within their beats starts to inflate. But when they hit play, quality doesn't seem to increase. And it's here when it can start to feel like you're gonna regress, like ever since you hit the wall, you're going backwards, like you're getting worse. And it's here when beatmaking starts to feel hopeless. This is when producers sell their computers, they head over to the docks, and they start selling their bodies to the sailors coming home from the war. Truly sad. But the reason why this happens is because you're going in the wrong direction with your beats after you hit the wall. Basically, think of this graph as the relationship between complexity and quality. When you start, your beats are simple and low in quality. As you practice more, your beats will become more complex, but they'll actually sound better than the simple caveman music that you were making before. Then you will hit the wall, and this is where your beats can go either one of two ways. You can continue to increase complexity in your beats and make them more and more insane and over the top, but look what is happening to the quality of your beats. It actually decreases. Ironically, when you get to this stage, when you hit the wall, decreasing the amount of complexity in your beats is actually the path forward to making higher quality music. This is something that I talked about in an older video of mine where I broke down and analyzed many of the beats that show up on a lot of top 10 lists, and what was surprising was just how simple so many of them were. So how would this look in your beat? Once you progress, once you've learned and gained all those new skills that I talked about, don't feel like you have to use every single skill in every single beat. You do not need to flex your abilities all the time. It's at this stage that making a good beat will come down to knowing when you should use your abilities. Your decision making will become more and more important as you get better and better. Now, having said that, you might be far away from this point right now, so if you need help getting here and you want to learn the key skills to making beats, I recommend joining my free training. It's a free 7-day course on how to start making beats. It's built for producers who have zero musical experience or knowledge, but still want to learn how to make beats. To check it out, click the little box next to me, but if you're not interested, no worries. Think about checking out this video next to me. It's the one that I talked about where I analyze legendary beats. You may find what I discovered to be quite tantalizing. Either way, I hope this video has helped you out, and like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.